It was time for the office Halloween party. We got ready at Wendy's apartment earlier in the evening. After a few drinks to loosen us up, we arrived at the bar where most of our colleagues had already been getting stuck into the free bar. Outside, Wendy and I did a final check on each other's costumes. "Are you ready for this?" Wendy asked sincerely. "Definitely, I look good, if I do say so myself. People may realize this isn't my first time in a dress. No guy puts this much effort into cross-dressing unless they've done it before. I'm ready." She smiled. "What will you say if anyone asks?" I knew already. I'd considered it for a while. I'll tell them the truth. I dress like this when I'm not at work. Honestly, Wendy, I'm not hiding it anymore. It's part of me, and I'm hurting nobody. I said confidently. "Good, you can start coming out with me a bit more often. I prefer Sara to Scott anyway. No offense intended, Scott, if you are in there." "No harm done. He isn't here. Tonight is all about Sara." We laughed and headed to the entrance. Wendy looked sensational in her Sandra D. from Grease outfit. The good one, the black leather leggings, little black top, neckerchief, huge blonde permed wig, and red killer heels. She was strutting a lot more confidently than me, taking the lead. I followed behind as quickly as I could manage in my outfit. I had chosen to go as Velma from Scooby Doo. Sexy Velma, though. I was wearing a tight, bright orange long-sleeve turtleneck top, paired with a red pleated latex miniskirt. On my legs, I wore orange over-the-knee opaque stockings, and for shoes, I went with red patent stilettos with an ankle strap and 5-inch heels. The kind of heels someone with lots of experience can handle, not some dude trying drag for the first time. The shoes alone let everyone know this wasn't my first rodeo. I had the Velma wig and glasses and a magnifying glass for added effect. The bar was packed. The music was loud but not deafening. We could hear each other speak. I spotted a booth just off the dance floor, grabbed Wendy, and made a beeline for it. Once seated, I crossed my legs immediately, and the skirt left nothing to the imagination. Wendy headed to the bar for drinks and left me alone. I opened my phone to look busy. I felt a little nervous, sat on my own in the booth. I had a text from Carl. Carl works in our office. He sits opposite me for 2 days a week. The rest of the time he works in another office in town. I look forward to those 2 days. We get on really well. He's 33, a decade older than me, and a much bigger, person than me. Taller, wider in the shoulders. Basically, he's a 10. The full package. The girls in the office have been trying and failing to date him or set him up with friends, that kind of thing. We all assumed he was just happy to be out of his apparently toxic marriage. He'd talked to me about it a fair bit. I opened the text and it read, "Wow, is that you?" I looked around the bar. I couldn't see him anywhere at first. "Where are you?" I typed in reply, and the screen read, "Carl is typing," for a minute. Then he responded, "I'm looking down from the balcony, wondering what Velma would like to drink." I looked up. It took me a second, but there he was, in his Captain America costume. No mask, but he had the shield. His hair was blonde anyway, with a teeny bit of gray. Think slightly aged Steve Rogers. He'd styled it perfectly, and his suit was tight, really tight, and I'd only seen him from the shoulders up so far. He was smiling and looking right at me. "I'm with Wendy. Come down and join us. Use the stairs, though. Cap, no need for any superhero landings. You can get the next round if you like." I crossed my legs again. I knew he was looking at them. I was enjoying the attention from him, and I sent the text. I saw him laughing in reaction to the text. He signaled he'd be down soon and disappeared into the upstairs crowd. Wendy sat down and handed me a vodka and Coke. "How are you doing, Sara? Remember, we can leave at any time if it's too much." "What are you grinning at?" she said, sipping her beer. "I'm going nowhere. Captain America has kindly offered to buy us drinks. He's on his way. You know how it is. He gets sidetracked." Wendy stared at me like a confused Labrador. "Are you okay, Sara? I've been gone for 2 minutes, and you're talking gibberish?" "I'm fine," I said, handing her my phone, still open with the messages from Carl. She stared at the screen, her mouth open. "Oh my God. Didn't take you long, did it? Carl is coming to buy you a drink, sweetie. He's not flirting with me by text. He's got the hots for Velma." She slapped my shoulder in mock attack, just as Carl, sorry, Captain America, and now apparently accompanied by Neo from the Matrix, arrived at our table with a tray of drinks. Ladies, we come with shots. May we join you? Neo from the Matrix, also known as Damien from Accounts, declared, taking the tray of drinks from Carl. How can we refuse? He's an Avenger, and you can stop bullets. Please sit down. Here, Damien, you sit here next to me. Wendy said, patting the seat next to her. That was strategical on her part, and it worked. Carl sat right next to me. We chatted back and forth as a group for a few minutes until finally Wendy took Damien to the bar. Carl leaned in to me and spoke. This isn't your first adventure in femininity, is it, Scott? You can't look this good for your first attempt? You are the most beautiful, person in here. You look fantastic is what I'm saying. He was getting flustered. He hadn't taken his eyes off my legs either. Breathe, Carl. Calm yourself. I placed my manicured fingernail under his chin and lifted his face so he would look into my eyes. Clever boy. I admit this is definitely not my first rodeo. I've been dressing up since I was little. I'm a cross-dresser. My friends and family know. They've been great. Wendy has been like a sister to me, but I've kept this part of my life and work separate until tonight. I love dressing like this. Wendy suggested bringing Sara out of the closet for this party, and here we are. Carl looked slightly puzzled. Sara, he asked. Oh, that's the name I use when I'm dressed like this. Did you think it was Velma? I said with a wink. We both laughed. I'll be honest with you. Sara, I had my suspicions. Your nails, they are manicured, and occasionally I see traces of polish on them. Sometimes I see a hint of eyeliner. Looks like I was correct. I was shocked. I was confident that nobody at work knew. I was still happy, though. He was being so cool. You are very observant, Carl. Did you notice anything else about me? Well, I noticed you never talked about girls or girlfriends. That's something I may have noticed, Carl said coyly. The back of my heel was now gently brushing against his giant calves. Another good spot, Carl. Well, there's probably a good reason for that. Hold that thought, Cap. Here's our drinks. Wendy came tottering over empty-handed. Poor Damien was carrying the drinks. They sat down and the conversation returned to a group dynamic. After a while, Wendy and I went to the ladies together. Okay, Wendy, I did not see this one coming. He's giving me all the signals. What the hell do I do? Wendy was laughing hard. Carl, the handsome bachelor you've been banging on about for a year is interested in you? And you need advice? Seriously? You are hilarious, Sara. She had a point. I'd had a crush on him for ages. I never thought for 1 second he'd be interested, especially considering what I just told him. Sara, I'm having a great time with Damien. I'll focus on him. You go to the bar and I'll send Carl to help. We'll take it from there. Text me and I'll get Damien and I out of the way. How does that sound? It sounded great. I had ordered the drinks and was stood leaning on the bar. I leant forward slightly to arch my back. I knew he was looking, then a hand gently on my hip. I could smell his aftershave. He whispered in my ear, Do you like guys? Is that the reason? I turned to face him. He towered over me, even in my stiletto heels. Both his hands now gently held my waist. I whispered in his ear, Depends on the guy. He looked right in my eyes. What about this guy? I was melting. I didn't know what to say. He pulled me closer and kissed me, very gently. It lingered for a moment. Then, pulling me in tight, he said, We're getting out of here, Sara. The captain has decided that Velma needs some personal protection back at his place. Now, laughing hysterically, we headed back to the booth, ready to make our excuses. Wendy and Damien nodded along sarcastically as we feigned tiredness and expressed our disdain for the music. The music was fine 5 minutes ago. We hugged and said our goodbyes. Have fun, Sara. Text me his address, and I'll collect you in the morning. Be gentle with him. Wendy gave me a sly wink and a kiss, and we left the bar. As we walked to the taxi rank, Carl had his arm round my waist. This was helpful. 4 vodkas, 2 shots, and 5-inch heels. They take their toll after a few hours. I'd hoped I was right about you. I knew you'd make a beautiful girl. I jumped into his arms, surprising him, but he caught me, now carrying me like a bride over a threshold. We locked eyes. Okay, Captain. Enough small talk. Run as fast as you can. Take Velma back to yours. She needs some serious protection. Right now.